This is the DJI Osmo Pocket 3 and I've been using this camera for nearly a year now, mainly to film my vlogs when I'm traveling. And I've taken this pretty much wherever I've traveled to ever since purchase, because look at the size of this thing. And speaking of size, this is what my vlogging camera used to look like before, and this is what it looks like now. And just as a little disclaimer, this is not a sponsored video. I purchased this with my own money, but like and comment to blow up this video, and hopefully DJI recognizes this video and, you know, ends up sponsoring the next product review that I do. Let's jump right into it, but first things first. Let's take a step back by unboxing this thing so you get to see right off the bat what comes with it. I opted out for the creator combo, which had additional accessories. The creator combo at the time of making this video is currently priced at 1,071 Canadian dollars or 792 US dollars. If you were to just get the Osmo Pocket 3 itself, it is 719 Canadian dollars or roughly around 531 US dollars. Included in this combo is a carrying bag. We've got a bunch of instructions, stickers, and papers. The protective case for the Osmo Pocket 3. Back to the case, it is made of good quality that can fit all of the accessories, including the camera, the handle that attaches to the Osmo Pocket 3 with a 1/4-inch thread, the battery handle that provides a largest surface for grip, as well as extra battery power for the Osmo. It can also be attached and has a 1/4-inch thread for the mini tripod. The DJI Mic 2 transmitter that connects wirelessly to the Osmo Pocket 3 also comes with a windscreen. Lastly, it comes with this magnet to hide the mic, the mini tripod, and of course, the Osmo Pocket 3, it's a thing of beauty. You also get this Type-C to Type-C charging cable, a wrist strap, which I highly recommend you use with your Osmo Pocket 3, a 15mm wide-angle lens. It snaps onto the camera easily. Going back to the attachments, I'm just going to show you what it looks like, the different accessories attached to the camera. And that's that. Now let's go back out there in the field. The Osmo Pocket 3 definitely lives up to its name because of its size and its weight. I mean, you could literally fit this thing anywhere. Released in November 2023, weighing 179 grams. It's the same size as an iPhone, if not probably smaller. It's got a 3-axis gimbal stabilization, a 2-inch OLED screen, and it's got a built-in omnidirectional stereo recording for audio. And you also have the option to connect with the DJI Mic 2 transmitter, which connects to this Osmo seamlessly. For video, you have the ability to shoot 4K at 60 frames per second, D-Log with 10-bit colors, which is very, very impressive. And there's a slow motion feature, slow motion mode, that enables you to shoot 4K at 120 frames per second. The Osmo Pocket 3 has a 1-inch CMOS sensor with a 20mm f2 focal length, as well as Active Track 6.0, which I find very useful if you're out and about solo traveling and you want some dynamic shots in your videos. With the camera being stationary, Active Track allows you to do just that. The camera also has several features like a time-lapse, hyperlapse, and motion lapse, which I'll get into later. It also has 3 gimbal modes: follow, tilt lock, and FPV, and another FPV. Oh, and this spin shot. The Osmo Pocket 3 also has a built-in battery that you cannot remove, and this thing, DJI claims for it to last about 2 hours or so when shooting at 4K, and it takes about 16 minutes charging time for it to get up to 80%. Now, I've traveled with this to a lot of countries in the past year, and with the way I used it, it usually lasts me the entire day, which is fairly good because I use this as mainly my vlogging camera, like I mentioned. And worst case, I do have my portable charger with me where I can just easily charge it if I need to. And I also have this extra battery with me that I carry with me in my travels or when I'm out and about. And I think this also lasts another 2 hours or so, and it takes another 16 minutes for it to be charged, for it to get to 80%. Overall, I'm very, very happy with the battery. I think the battery life is amazing on this. And like I said, with the way I use it, it lasts me usually the entire day. I'll charge it, you know, in the morning, and then I'll go out and about, film the entire day, and then by the time I get home, this battery and this battery needs to be charged. So it's fairly good with my use case. Other people might not like it, but this lasts me the entire day, which is fairly amazing. If you get the creator combo or have the DJI Mic 2 separately, you could connect it with the Osmo Pocket 3. It's fairly easy to connect. All you gotta do is just set it up once, and then once you have both the mic and the Osmo Pocket 3 on, it will just automatically connect. It will just find it, and it's actually fairly easy to set up. And this is what the mic looks like. As you can see, it's got this cool transparent look to it. It's also got a magnetic piece right here, which you could, it's gonna come in handy when you want to try to hide the mic itself, because it just clips on and it's very subtle. It gives it that nice look to it. Now, if you don't have the DJI Mic 2, I think you could also connect it with the DJI Mic 1, but if you don't have any of the mics, this is what the audio sounds like from the Osmo Pocket 3. Testing 1 2 3, testing 1 2 3. It's also not that bad, but for me, I prefer using this with a mic, just because the sound it just sounds crispier with a mic. And now this is what the Osmo Pocket 3 sounds like with this mic. Testing 1 2 3, testing 1 2 3. Earlier I mentioned that in normal video mode, you're able to shoot 4K at 60 frames per second. You're also able to shoot 4K at 120 in super slow motion mode. The only difference is there's no audio in super slow motion mode. This is primarily a video camera, but the Osmo Pocket 3 could also take photos. It produces 9 megapixel still images in RAW and JPEG, and also has this cool panorama mode that takes 180 degrees or a 3x3 stitched. And both of these modes, it will have this fisheye effect. Now, I've never really used the photo feature on this, just because I use it mainly as my vlogging camera, but it's just nice to know that it's able to take photos when I need to, you know? Now, since we're inside the car, I thought it'd be a great environment to show you the difference between the fixed 20mm focal length that the Osmo Pocket 3 has now versus the wide angle lens that comes with it, which is a 15mm. So right now it's a 20mm focal length, and with this, whoa, almost tipped over there on the mount. Let me just fix that. There you go. And that's the 15mm focal length. As you can see on the edges, it has a fisheye distortion. It has that look to it for sure. For me personally, I think the 20mm is nice. I like to keep things linear. And I mean, I'll probably use this once in a while, but the time that I've had this Osmo Pocket 3, I think I've only used it maybe 2 or 3 times tops, that's it. But you do have that option of using it, and there you have it. And it's really cool because in this case, you can just snap this thing right there. And then if you also get the mist filter, you can snap on the filter right there as well with the wide angle lens. There are 3 time-lapse modes that you could do to add some flavor into your videos. First, let's start off with the time-lapse. The camera is stationary. You can set the resolution, frame rate, interval, and duration. In motion lapse, the camera is again stationary, but the pan is going from one spot to the next, either from left to right, right to left, or you can fully customize which way the camera is supposed to pan. You can set the resolution, frame rate, interval, duration, and waypoints. Lastly, in hyperlapse, you are moving the camera and you can set the resolution, frame rate, and speed. There are 4 gimbal modes with the Osmo Pocket, plus a bonus spin shot. The first mode is follow, where the pan and tilt follows the handle while the roll axis is locked. Tilt lock is when only the pan axis follows the handle and the roll and the tilt remains level. FPV is where everything else, pan, tilt, and roll axis follows. Then there's another FPV, all of which again follows, but it's meant for quickly capturing subjects as the camera will stay perpendicular to the touchscreen. The other mode is by holding the joystick, which locks the gimbal in place, and it's only activated pushing down on the joystick. Lastly, the spin shot, where it enables the camera to move either 90 or 180 degrees. So once you get the Osmo Pocket 3, I highly suggest downloading the Nemo app directly on your phone. It's available for iOS and Android, and I love this app just because it enables you to control the camera directly on your phone. And so if you're traveling alone or you're creating content on your own, you're able to manipulate the controls from afar. And the other perk is that you're able to save the photos or the videos you've just taken directly on your phone. Now that we've gone over the Osmo Pocket 3, I'm gonna go through with the cons, and then I'll end with the great things about this camera. It's definitely, you know, I don't want to spoil the pros and cons, but it's definitely one of my favorite cameras at the moment. Let's start off with the cons. So first things first, it's not weather sealed, meaning if it's raining whatsoever, I don't think I'll be using this or want to try using this under the rain. It was raining in Thailand once, and then I think I used it for a good 10-15 seconds, and then after I was like, no, I'm not even gonna push it that far. I'm not gonna test it out. But it is not weather sealed, so that's one con about it. I wish it was waterproof and rainproof and weather sealed. That would have been really, really handy. The other thing is that it feels very fragile. I mean, I get it, it's a 3-axis gimbal stabilization, but even when I'm trying to put it in the case, I feel that I have to be really, really careful when I'm putting the gimbal in, or the camera in the protective case. And there were times when this would just pop out this way or the other way or whatever, and it would just freak the crap out of me, because obviously it's a very sensitive kind of like spot on the camera, and I don't want to damage it, or even just dropping it alone, I think it would kill your camera. I haven't dropped this just yet, and again, I don't want to test it, but I've heard of other YouTubers dropping their Osmo Pocket 3 and just killing it. It's very fragile. You have to care for it, obviously, as with any of the other cameras that you own. I assume you take care of it. The autofocus is great on this, but it has focus breathing when a subject or object gets close to the camera. Also, focusing from one subject to the other is just way too fast for me. It'll be nice if there was a way to change the autofocus speed so that you can make your videos more cinematic. The built-in gimbal is, again, amazing, but what I notice is when I'm walking and I'm filming what's in front of me, there seems to be a wobble in the videos. It's almost as if you have to walk as if you were a ninja, which makes sense because that is how you're supposed to walk if you want to make your videos really, really cinematic. But if you're just walking normal pace and you're doing this and you're trying to capture what's right in front of you, it's gonna have this wobble, and it's just not a nice look to it. For vlogging, it's okay, but if you're trying to get smooth, buttery shots, you're gonna have to walk like a ninja to make it smooth, if that even makes sense. I talked about the focal lengths and the wide angle lens that it comes with, and the 20mm focal length f2 it's nice. It's a fixed lens, and I feel like it's enough if you're vlogging, but I wish there was a way to have other varieties. And I mean, it does have the wide angle lens, like I said, which is the 15mm, and this one also has the 2x zoom in range, but then you're also sacrificing quality. I feel like the quality is just not that nice when you use that feature. Overall, I just wish there were other focal lengths available. Okay, now this new feature, being able to shoot in vertical mode, it only allows you to shoot in 3K and not 4K. I wish you were able to do it in 4K. I see some people just flipping their Osmo Pocket 3 like this and then kind of turning it this way to kind of still have that portrait, that TikTok or real video format without having to sacrifice 4K. But I mean, it's not that big of a deal. It'll be nice to just, instead of having a 3K option, you know, it'll stay in 4K. The consistency of the 4K from vertical to horizontal would be nice, but it's not a big deal. I mean, there's definitely ways around it. I think I'm just nitpicking, but that's another con I could think of. And then now let's go on to the pros. The first pro is, I mean, the size, the portability and how compact it is and how powerful this thing is. Shoots 4K at 60 frames, shoots great, amazing photos as well, and I don't know what else to say. This is definitely one of my favorite cameras that I have right now, and this, because of the size, I think it also made me want to create content more when I'm on the go, because I don't have to set up my mic and take out my big lens and my full frame camera. You know, I'm just able to take this out of my pocket, flip it, turn it on, and then the mic is automatically connected. It's very subtle, it's very less intrusive, I would say, when you're vlogging in public, which makes you want to create more content. I don't know if that makes sense, but that's just how I feel about this camera. That's been my experience, at least, with this camera. Okay, the next thing is the battery life and the fact that it doesn't overheat. I love how I was able to take this in hot tropical destinations where it's 30, 35 plus degrees, and I'm vlogging under the hot weather for quite some time, and it doesn't overheat at all. And it's just been so nice that it doesn't shut off or do anything crazy, malfunction or whatever. The battery life in my use case is pretty damn good. The external battery and the fact that it can quickly charge it to 80% in 16 minutes is amazing. The next thing is the build, the quality, the feel, and the accessories that comes with it. It just works perfectly. The next pro is that I feel like this is such a tiny thing, but it's a big deal for me. Okay, so here on the Osmo Pocket 3, you're able to switch from front facing to selfie mode. So I'm able to vlog and then also film what's right in front of me. I don't know, it's such a tiny feature, but I love it because I don't have to turn the camera this way or this way. It's smooth and buttery when I'm trying to switch it over. And this is definitely one of my favorite features. I know to some people this may not mean a lot, but to me, it's amazing. I love this feature. The question is it worth the buy? It definitely is. As a travel creator who loves traveling light, this is definitely a must-have in my camera bag. For a camera footprint like this without sacrificing quality, it's a must-have for anyone. I mean, you don't even have to be a traveler to buy this. I think for any vlogger or creatives who wants to keep their equipment compact and light without sacrificing the quality, the DJI Osmo Pocket 3 is just that. And as the sun had gone down, I'm gonna end this video, and I hope you found this video helpful. And if you did, give it a big thumbs up, subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so yet, and I'll catch you on the next video.